What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of The Black Experience. Today, y'all, I have a very special episode with y'all today. I have a returning guest, Miss Khemistry Williams, who will be talking about her trip that she did several months ago to Sierra Leone. She spent a month there, and she's got a lot to tell and a lot of experiences. So without further ado, y'all, let's put our hands together and spring up Khemistry. What's going on?
Thank you, Ermias. Thank you for bringing me back. I'm super excited to share about my trip to Sierra Leone, which ended up being a study abroad. So there was a lot of preparation before I left. And I studied the arts, culture, and history of Sierra Leone. So I feel very fortunate.
Yeah, I remember leading up to you leaving, you would talk about this, and I was like, man, immediately I had that friend pop up. I had Moses pop up. Shout out to you, Moses. And I was like, yeah, he's from Sierra Leone. He's got family there. He was born there and everything, and I can connect you with him. And you met him, and he connected you with some people. Is that correct?
Yeah. So the two main folks who were part of my study abroad. So I couldn't go around and do things on my own because I couldn't speak the language well. Mm-hmm. They speak Creole in Sierra Leone, and also because they could tell I was from the States, they call it a JC. Just come. And when they look at you, they can tell that you're not from Sierra Leone. Yeah. So as a result, you end up paying way more for everything. So as a protection for me, these folks dedicated over 40 hours a week, spending time with me, interviewing folks for my studies. And I just have to give kudos to Martin Belmo. Martin Belmo, he was hands down one of the people who Moses introduced me to. Mm-hmm. This man is so loyal and so faithful. If he tells you he's going to do something, he's going to do everything he can to stand up to that. And then another person I have to shout out is Aisha Camera. She was the one who I met, and she was part of my host family. Hands down, they treated me like royalty. To the point where there was a lot of tears when it was time for me to leave. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And I see that you've brought a certificate from there. If you want to just show that to the audience and maybe tell us a little bit about the significance of it.
So I'm not sure if you all can see this clearly, but as part of my study abroad and being welcomed into the community in Freetown in Sierra Leone, I was given a country name. So I went there as Quiniqua Williams, and I returned as Masire Nalima Belmo Camera. So Belmo is the last name of Martin, who I told you about, and Camera is the last name of Aisha. But they chose this name for me. Masire Nalima means beautiful one after my heart. So I feel very fortunate that that's the name they chose for me. And it was a beautiful ceremony. I can share photos of it for you to drop later.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, Khemistry, like briefly, if you would just want to reintroduce yourself real quick to the audience. I know I've had you on late last year, and it was in a different studio in a different city. And welcome to Colors again. Reintroduce yourself to the audience.
So I am Quiniqua Williams. I'm also I'm Quiniqua Williams. I'm also an artist. So you may hear folks refer to me as Khemistry, and most of the time Ermias will introduce me as Khemistry simply because I met him in the artist context. So I have multiple names. It just depends on what context you meet me in. I am now a teaching artist through Allied Arts in Bellingham. So I have the privilege of taking poetry, taking collage, and using it as a tool to help youth explore their identity in the classrooms. And that has been super, super beautiful, super powerful. You would never even imagine some of the things coming up for youth when I'm in the classroom with them.
Yeah. And of all places, Sierra Leone, tell us a little bit why there and why not another place?
So I traced my ancestry to Sierra Leone back in 2018. And I was like, I need to go back. I need to learn more about the culture. I need to see how I can show up as a better person over on this side based on the context and the culture happening there. Yeah. So I did that, and then in 2023, I met this amazing woman named Dr. Marsha Taterunga, and she is the dean of Evergreen State College. She has a book called The Stolen Ones. And in The Stolen Ones, she basically talks about how when women or people go to Kenya, she does cultural reconnection trips to Kenya. And when she takes folks to Kenya, the folks in the village remember the stories that were told about the folks who were taken from Kenya. And so it's this powerful experience to show up and understand that we are still appreciated, we are still valued, and that they call us the stolen ones, that we were stolen from our homelands. And so very beautiful story. And for me, I got to experience that as well. From the day I landed on the soil of Sierra Leone, I literally had people holding my hand. I had people just welcoming me into the community and telling me that I looked like their sister, and just such a beautiful experience. So I have to thank Dr. Marsha Tateronga for helping me dream that up, to understand that there is a possibility for us to do those cultural reconnection trips or that root tourism back to wherever it is that we're from, and that helps that sense of belonging that we sometimes are lacking. As soon as you step foot on the soils of wherever you were supposed to be, you feel that belonging.
Yeah, and it's like I don't know, what's the word I'm trying to say? When you see, for example, when you see somebody succeeding in a venture that you want to, that looks like you specifically, representation, that's the word.
Yeah.
I was trying to find it. You have that just increased amount more of confidence in embarking in that. And I feel like when it comes to reconnecting with your cultural roots, you're like, wow, I am from here. Like if you take ancestry.com test, a DNA test, oh, I'm from here. I'm a quarter here. I'm a quarter there. You just have that pride about you, and that, you feel like your establishment and you're more anchored in life. You know what I mean?
Yes, for sure. And the beautiful part of me being there is that I had 4 people in total who were part of my learning experience. And they talked about how much they learned about their own country based on the questions I presented during my focus conversations with people. Some people call them interviews, but I call them focus conversations. So during the study abroad, I asked a lot of questions about, like, what are the cultural practices within your home that may not look like what happens outside of your home? And also, some of the folks were able to talk about folks in Georgia, the Gullah folks who were taken from Sierra Leone. So it's not like we're over here and folks over there aren't thinking about the folks who were taken. They're telling those stories. And for those people who may not have heard it in their classes, when they went around with me, they were able to hear those stories. And I was so emotional. Like, I had to try not to cry on one of my interviews, but I also have them on tape, and I'm happy to share them with you if you're interested in learning more.
Oh, I absolutely would. Absolutely would. Well, Khemistry, you make people cry with your poetry. I don't know if y'all know, but she's also a poet, and she read us 2 poems when we first recorded. So, emotion is just part of it, right?
Yeah.
How was the food there? Oh, go ahead.
So I don't like spicy food, and I eat a lot of protein. So I didn't try a lot of the food simply because it was too spicy. But what I was able to eat was pretty yummy. I had a thought before you asked about the food.
You did.
It's gone, but it'll come back.
It'll come back.
Yeah, so the food, and one of the interesting things is, like, everything is fresh. Folks don't generally have refrigerators, so they go to the market every day to pick up what they want to eat for the day. And it's just thousands and thousands and thousands of people with colorful things on in the streets. It's like mind-boggling. Your eyes are just fully open and encompassing and enjoying all those different things that we don't necessarily see here in the States. So,
And speaking of that colorful attire, tell us a little bit about what you got going on right now, what you're wearing.
So this is...
It's beautiful.
Yeah, thank you. So this is a dress, one of the dresses I brought back with me. I took 3 suitcases of clothes. I practically left all of my things and came back with things they gifted me. So this is one of the dresses they gifted me. They made me country clothes, and I was able to bring those back. Just, oh my gosh, I can't even begin to explain clearly one of the revelations I had when I was there. Like, a lot of times they say, money can't buy happiness, money can't buy happiness. And even in the midst of some of the poverty I saw, the main thing I saw was joy and happiness. People found ways to connect. People would be dancing in the streets. The beach has thousands and thousands of people. You can't even see the water. And just being able to be in a community where people are just experiencing joy despite what's going on for them, that really stuck in my mind. And so I've been trying to figure out ways to access more joy in my life, because I know I have the resources I need to carry on, and some of them don't have the resources. So it's been a reality check for me for sure.
Yeah. And I remember you were telling me and a friend you didn't want to come back.
No, I did not want to come back. I did not want to come back. The lifestyle is totally different. Like, I don't buy my own food. I don't cook my own food. Like, I don't wash my own clothes. Everyone is there to support and lift you up and make sure you have like the best experience. Even with, like I said, the level of poverty, just being around people who find ways to love life is so exciting, and it's so encouraging. And I can't even say that I didn't notice having anxiety. I didn't notice having any depression in Africa. But
Really?
Yeah. So, but that stark contrast of coming back, I was like, oh my gosh, this is difficult. This is hard. Like being in the States where people have, and then there's so many people who are sad and going through things. Just navigating that and having to share that with people. But I look forward to the opportunity to go back. So
Certainly. Well, it begs the question too, like what is it? Because, you can have people that are living amongst poverty and still be happier than people that have everything that they need under the sun and not be as happy. And it's like, well, it really, I don't know. For me, it goes back to the old saying, things and stuff don't really make you happy. But what would you say to that, I guess?
Yeah, I think that's true. Like, for one, a lot of people are family oriented. Many households are intergenerational, where you have grandmother living with grandchildren and multiple family members in one household. And I think that that's part of it, is that they understand that unity is important, that supporting each other is important. And so for them, they don't have that individualistic spirit that we have here in the States. I have to do everything on my own. When I turn 18, I have to get out of the house. I have to have my own place.
Yeah.
And it's not a spirit that's prevalent there. And I think that too, not being kicked out at the age of 18, not having these different experiences of like, I need to grow up too quickly. All these things assigned to us at a certain age, like, okay, you're 18 now and you need to go to school. Okay, you're 18 now and you need to have a car. Like, those obligations and those expectations, they don't have. Their set of expectations look different. So I think that contributes to it a lot as well.
Yeah, it's like restlessness. It's like the constant, okay, you're 18, you move out, you go to college, now get a job, now get a family, da-da-da-da-da.
Yeah. And they don't necessarily have that. Like, excuse me, yeah. So my host family, the youngest one who was there often he wasn't even one yet. And then, the oldest person there, I think she I can't even guess how old mommy is, but just seeing that family be together so much. You see the young people going out in the morning, getting the water from the well, and then someone else maybe in the kitchen chopping the veggies. Folks are up in the morning making tea and coffee, and every day or two you see folks out washing clothes, and it's busy work. They're busy. They're working a lot. They go so much in a day that I'm like, wow, that's impressive. I can't do that. But they do it because that is what their cultural expectations are. And it's nice to be able to have that comparison because, I mean, for me, I don't imagine I'll be able to have that type of lifestyle where I just go, because here in the States, you know, rest is a form of resistance. So I'm like, I'm going to rest.
Yeah.
Whereas for them, they don't have that type of context. So for them, you go until it's time to go to sleep. And so being able to see those different contrasts between the US and Sierra Leone, I'm still working with in my mind, like, would I go stay there for the rest of my life to experience the joy and happiness piece? Absolutely. The only thing I find difficult is that they don't have the infrastructure, the medical infrastructure to support anyone who has like chronic illness or anything like that. So that would be the main thing that would prevent me from going there and staying. But everything else is, I think it's lovely. It's beautiful.
You're a poet, Khemistry.
Yeah.
Did this trip shape any future poems coming out, or even the way you embark on poetry in itself?
Yeah, so I actually had the privilege of speaking at a lecture hall. I told folks why I was in Sierra Leone for the first place. In the first place, I told them that I was there on a study abroad trip because I traced my ancestry there. And so I talked to them briefly about that. And then the next day, I was welcomed back into the lecture hall. I wrote a poem during my time there, and I shared that poem with them in the lecture hall. And then I had folks coming up to me like, oh my gosh, you know, that was good. So I actually am hoping that, oh, there's this important piece I should share. So after my study abroad, one of the young men who I interviewed or had a focused conversation with, he reached out to me about a month ago, and he invited me to do an internship at Fort Bay College in Sierra Leone. So I'm going to be going back to Sierra Leone, and I'll be there from November through the beginning of February. So I'll be able to get fully immersed in the culture, be fully immersed in the way that their academic system works, and be able to learn from them the cultural context that I need to be a cultural steward, or to be able to integrate some cross-cultural learnings when I come back to the States. So I'm super happy and excited about that as well. I just feel like when you set your mind to dream, when you dream up things that make you happy, that the doors of opportunity open up as long as you can think of some ways to dream. So I encourage folks, if you haven't done your ancestry, please do so. And if you haven't done a study abroad, try it out. If you have friends who live in another country and they welcome you to go with them, please do. I think it'll be a life-changing experience for sure.
Of your 1 month experience there, do you have any lessons that you've learned, that you've captured, that you've kind of implemented in your life, or any, even not just lessons too, but just like moments that you'll never forget? Maybe it was like a walk on the beach and something came across you, maybe a thought about doing poetry or whatever. You have any of those moments?
One of the most impactful moments I had was the naming ceremony, because they had a dress custom designed for me with the country colors, with the country cloth, and folks were ready to come in and celebrate me as a new community member. They literally laid out the red carpet for me. Like, I literally walked down a red carpet.
Was that the photo that you sent me?
Yeah, that was the photo I sent you.
Yeah.
And so just the value they place on people, on humans, they have such a huge respect, and they're so accepting. You see, so at my naming ceremony, there was Muslims and Christians singing the same song. That's how accepting they are in that country. Yeah, so it was such a beautiful experience. At my naming ceremony, there's this custom that people pay to hear your name. And even though Sierra Leone is one of the most impoverished countries in Africa, folks gave money to hear my name. Maybe they didn't necessarily have it, but they believed in the process. and they gave money to hear the name that my friends chose for me, which I shared with you earlier. But that sense of community, that sense of acceptance in the States, you're not necessarily getting that. So that's one of the things, like, I'm trying to open up my mind to see how can I do a better job at accepting people for who they are, how they show up in the world, and the choices and decisions they make over their lives.
Wow. Well, Khemistry, I appreciate you sharing this beautiful experience that you had there. Are there any last comments, anything that you want to throw out there for the audience before we leave?
I would just say that in these critical times, if you haven't connected with some form of art, I encourage you to do so. We are in tumultuous times, and art is a way for our brains to explore thoughts, to explore our own identity, to connect with people around us, to allow ourselves to grow, to transform. It's great for mental health. And so make it a practice, even if it's not every day, at least once a month to begin with. Color a page, write a note, do anything that will engage your brain in art, because that is how we keep moving during times like this when things are so difficult. Yeah.
Thank you, Khemistry. And I hope everybody enjoyed this beautiful episode. Click the links below to learn more about Khemistry's trip, and as well as how to continue to support me on this podcast journey as I continue to bring on guests and bring back guests like Khemistry. So sadly, y'all, we are not going to get a poem read by Khemistry. So don't read me no poems, Uncle Russ. So I won't be tearing up like I did last time. Well, actually, I held up pretty well, right?
You held up pretty well.
I didn't.
I can pop in and share something with folks sometime. But
Certainly.
Armias, thank you so much for engaging me in this discussion about Sierra Leone. And I hope it really helps some of us to dream up more about.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And even for people that are listening to this that have always been wanting to do what you did and you just took the action, hopefully this is inspiration to just take that action. Book that flight. Take that trip to where you want to go to reconnect with your roots, because I think we all need that.
Yes,
so
for sure.
Thank you, Khemistry, and we will catch y'all on the next one. Till next time, guys. Peace.